Hey all, today I'm in my car. I got $50. You know what that means. It's time for the $50 bonsai challenge. So the rules state you can't spend more than $50 at one store, and you have to get a plant, a container to plant it in, or a pot, and your own soil from there as well. You can reuse your old screens, and you can also reuse your old wire. So, I'll let you know when we get there. Alright, so we got here. It took me about 10 minutes to get here. It's just our local hardware store that has a mini nursery attached to it. I'm not sure if they'll let me record here or not, but I'll give it a shot. Alright, so for starters, it looks like we have a polar gold arborative. It's a little evergreen. Looks like it has an extra branch coming out from the bottom, and it's cold hardy, which is great for my area. Then beside that we have a golden globe, and that's a part sun 2 to 4. So that one could also be a pretty good one. Then up here we have a few used. The repotting on that one doesn't look great. This one's got some decent roots and movement. That one's $22.99 as well, which would eat a huge portion of my budget. Beside them we have a golden mop though, and the golden mops have some pretty solid movement. And these ones are only $14.99, so that's a good possibility. Alright, so here's what we ended up going with. I realized that I forgot to hit record and instead took a picture of it. But what we ended up getting was a Siberian cypress. Not too much as far as the tree form goes, but I think with a little wire, we'll be able to work something out pretty good. This little guy right here is probably going to go away completely, but it has a pretty decent trunk down in there that I think I'm going to be able to work with quite well. We'll get into that more once we get to the table. Here is the pot I went with. I know it's absolutely massive, but it said we had to buy a pot, not that we can't modify it. So I think I'm going to end up cutting this pot right around here and using that as my bonsai pot for this project. And then I chose to go with the orchid potting mix because I like the thicker coarse mulch that's inside there for when I can't actually use bonsai soil, and they didn't sell bonsai soil there. So I managed to get all of that stuff for a total of $37.28 after tax, $35.17 before tax. So I made it under the $50 that I have to. Now I'll meet you over at the bench. Alright, also we're getting all set to go here. I'm gonna try out using my GoPro to see if that works any different. I've got my used wire, my screen, we've got the tree over here, and then we have the planter that I cut. So if you check it out here, I did definitely reseal the top edge because it is not solid clay, as you can tell. I should have known better and known that it was just going to be cement that was pretty much just coated with clay to make it look somewhat like the original type of pot, but that's all going to be okay. Let me get us all set up here And then we will begin by taking the tree out. All right, so let's give it a little squeeze down in here. Pull out the little pegs and things. So we got our squeeze, and we'll flip, and we'll pop back. All right, well, that is a fairly nice looking root system here. So let's just start by just pulling away from the top a little bit. Just a little bit, see what all we can get to show itself here. Actually, let's get rid of this little guy here. That's been on there choking it long enough. All right. So I don't have a turntable because, well, I don't really have anything big enough that I can't just take and turn by hand. So I'm just going to stick with turning by hand here. Just keep working this out. Nice healthy white roots showing all through here. We definitely want to try not to break any of those. So I have my little fork rake here. Yeah, I made it out of a fork. So we're just going to take that and just lightly brush around in here. Try and not hurt any of the roots. Get in here with our little bamboo stick. Then we're just going to work through these roots just real soft. Real soft. Just work them out. I know out of all the $50 challenges, I probably went with one of the cheaper pot options. But I thought with the options that I had, I really didn't want to pay that much money for basically an indoor planter. So we're just gonna keep working our way through here. Keep feeding these roots out. I picked a day, so it's been up in like the 90s with the humidity factors and all that, pushing up into the hundreds. And I picked a day where it's much more cloudy to do this, because with the way that the temperatures have been, it would not have been worth it. It would have been super dangerous for the tree, and I am not a big heat fan, which is why I do live up north. But so it would have been dangerous for both of us. I don't want to be out here, and I know that these roots do not want to be exposed in that kind of heat, which no matter what, this is not an ideal time of year to repot anything. But the cypress will stand one of the best chances. The azaleas actually just went through flowering, so that would have been another great option. Let me just tickle the bottom of this real quick, get off as much as I can here. It looks like we're about to just knock this all out in one big swoop. We just took out half of it. So at all times you want to give good support to the tree and the roots, because you don't want to damage anything at all. Okay, so now we're getting into the original root ball. And that is definitely, it feels like it's almost 90% perlite. It's just, it sounds like styrofoam basically every time you just poke into it. So we're just going to work our way out through there. I've seen a lot of great bonsai trees come out of this challenge. It's just been super cool to watch everybody and how they deal with their different environments. I mean, oh yeah, bonsai, being down in Texas and being able to do this was absolutely insane to me, because if it's hot like this up in Pennsylvania, I can only imagine what it's feeling like down in Texas right now. It's got to be absolutely awful. All right. Let's see what we can get out just by shaking it. Loosen up and shake. These roots look absolutely phenomenal though. Like, this is awesome. Super awesome. Right. Gonna flip this over here and work from the bottom now for a little bit. Continuing to work from the middle outwards the entire time. And I am holding the tree so that it doesn't get any of the limbs broken from laying down while I'm doing this. And like I thought, yeah, it's like, it's all perlite up inside here. It doesn't look like there's too much of anything else. Let's see if I can get this one bigger root to open up here for me. There we go. Try to get this stuff all spread out. All right, some more rake. And like I said in my intro, I'm new to working with the whole bonsai idea. I understand the plants and what they need to survive. So if you see me doing something crazy that I shouldn't be doing, for sure tell me. Be like, listen, you're doing something crazy and you shouldn't be doing that. And I'll be like, oh, I appreciate you helping. Just trying to get some of this stuff all unwound here. Figure out what belongs where. Right. So overall, this looks pretty good. Let me get this all cleaned off over here real quick. Okay, so now we're going to go in. I'm going to take this little branch off here for starters, because that's right down in where I want to be working. Then I have a few roots that are up a little bit higher than what I personally want. So I'm going to take that one off. Take that one off. I have a sucker down here that literally just said, hey, I'm just gonna pop up here from way down inside. So we're gonna pop off the sucker from below the root base. We may throw that in and see if I can get a cutting out of it this time of year. I'm not hopeful, but we'll give it a try. So I'm going to continue to take some of the bigger roots down from up top. Again, personal preference. I'm just not a fan from way up there. And I'm looking more towards trying to get a dual trunk out of this, but it looks like we may have to hold off on that for a little while. The meeting of the trunk is way down in here. So we will think about that. I am going to snip this one because it's crossing between some other ones. This may end up just being a cluster planting instead. I guess I should have dug a little bit deeper while I was there. Alright. So now we've got that. Let's just do a little trim up real quick. Well, I know I just laid it down. Terrible idea. I'm going to trim this guy back to here because that's a pretty solid root running down in there. Now the rest of this, this one's trying to wrap back around itself. So I'm going to cut that one there and then I'll work with it. Now we're just going to come through and trim off a little bit of the bottom. Alright. So I'm going to chill that guy right there real quick. Alrighty. Now we're just going to rinse these roots off. We'll let the roots soak over there while we get the pot all set up. No, options. What do we got? All right. Just get the wire all put through the mesh here real quick. Went a little bit too wide on that one. So we're just going to pop that down in there. There we go. Run it through. Lock it in place. Guess we might as well throw the one in that I was looking at using as a cutting too. Oh. I guess I just have to get it planted good. It's got some little roots coming off it. Don't mind my ADD kicking in. I'm just going to trim off the dead on this one real quick. Trim that back. So I'll just have to pot that one up then. Looks like I got an extra tree coming my way. Alright. So now I'm going to get my orchid mix opened up here. Get that mounded up pretty good. I think I'm actually going to grab up some of this potting soil that I took out of it. as well. It literally just came out. I picked it back up from the ground and just mixed that around with it. All right. So now we have our little mound. Now we just need to get back in here, get these roots resorted out again, back into their radial pattern, get a nice looking setup. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow at all this. Alright, so now that we got that, I'm going to flip it, stick it down in there. I'm sure you're probably thinking, you're doing this all wrong. But that's okay. That is okay. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I'll do it right next time. Uh-oh. Had a piece of mulch with a vine that just pulled all my roots back up on this back side. Well, I guess it's not mulch. The coarse orchid mix pulled it all up. Maybe I should have gone with the cactus blend. That might have been a better option. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to bring over my rinse bucket here and just set my pot down in it. So this way, while I'm working my way through, it's absorbing water. I'm going to start off here by just getting rid of some little stuff that's in here. Like all these little guys. We don't need those in here, making a mess of everything. Any new little shoots popping through here. Little branches crossing in. Don't mind this. This is just that one that I thought was going to be a cutting that ends up that it was has roots on it. Alright, so I'm going to reach down in here with my little snips. Then I'm going to work my way through and find anything that has like a mixture of dead on it. And I'm just going to get rid of anything that looks like it's got some dead chilling with it. Alright. Gonna snip out some of these little cross branches in the middle here. I like the movement here on this branch, how it's coming up and out. So I think that may be my main leader, but I'm not sure. But I definitely don't want this one here that's crossing everything. Save that little guy as a cutting. So you'll watch a lot of the other guys and they don't save a lot of them as cuttings, but since I'm newer to this, I don't have near as many trees as those guys do. So I can save them all as cuttings. So right now what I'm doing is exposing more of the trunk so I can get a good look at everything here. We're going to try to get rid of any downward pointed branches for right now. Some of these have 2 or 3 little guys running out of it, so we have to get that lowered down as well. Then we're going to come in here and find some dead, snip that out. I think I'm actually going to get rid of this whole branch right here because there was another one running behind it. Clean that up. Clear that crossing. Clear that so that we still have that movement running there. We're going to clear out some of these little guys through here. This one's growing straight up, so we're going to lose it. Lose it. So this one we're probably going to end up trying to rewire into a different position altogether, because I do like this branch. I just want to pull this branch back out this way. Got some more inners growing. Alright. Let's look up into the top layer real quick. That one's going to cross. I'm going to pull this one out. I'm actually going to get rid of that altogether. And these two. Because I'm going to bring some movement into this branch. And basically try to just bring it down and like this. Just get a little bit more action into it. These two are running parallel to each other, so I'm going to cut that one. Get rid of that little middle guy to create space. I don't want these little middle guys in here. I'm actually going to nip that one. Where's this little guy going here? Just right in the middle of everything, so we're going to nip that as well. Get rid of that one. And these two. But keep that movement running. Yes, because I'm going to pull that one. We're going to We're gonna get rid of this middle one here because that one died off at the top. Alrighty, so I feel pretty good about this side. This side I'm gonna end up getting wired up here in a minute then. Alright. Let me find a rock or something. Okay, so I found a little rock for temporary purposes. Since I didn't drill holes to wire the tree, now I have a rock holding it in place. Alright, sorry about that. My GoPro battery died before I realized it, and I did a little bit more work. I just trimmed up a few more things on here. I got this wire in place. I put the little S bend in it. So I got that. This branch, I'm still stuck here. So I don't think I'm going to do anything with this because I'm not sure if I want to follow this up and continue with this S. You know what? Nope. I'm going to nip it. Alright. Oh, I just pointed you at the sky as I was doing that. So I'm going to let this guy go. I actually like the natural curve it's taking. At some point, I'm either going to come this way or I'm going to go that way. I'm not sure yet. But it's harder for me to hold my phone, so I'm just going to trim up this side over here, get it wired up, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so I'm back with you before I even got there. I realized I have 3 main leaders coming out. Wow, my fingernails are absolutely terrible. Sorry about that. I have 3 main leaders coming out, and I need to sum this down to just 2. Let me show you what I have here. So I have this one, which has a nice curve up. This one, which has a nice curve. Then I have this guy down here. I really like this one. But I also like this one. But that gap is just going to be too wide. So I think since we're doing a bundle, I am going to end up getting rid of this one. I think. Yes, I'm going to get rid of this one and pull this one back this way more. That way I have these all lined up. Alright, so I'll be back with you shortly. Alright guys, so here it is. I did my best. So I'm about to show you my bonsai tree for under $50. Feel free to just let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether you think it's absolutely terrible or you like it. Alright, so here you go. There's your front view.